is an automatic transmission with a hot shift PTO. Pretty simple stuff. Just we're in neutral, truck is running, turn on pump, or turn on the switch, turns on the pump, which is running right now. You can feel the vibrations and the pump, hear the pump on working. You can spray here while we're just idling, while being in neutral with the park. You can brake on. You have your two front sprayers, your side sprayers, or you have your two rear sprayers. If you decide to go mobile on this truck, spraying while it's moving, go ahead and just put it in drive. We'll demonstrate in the next video, and we're gonna select number 1. We're gonna go with gear number 1. That's, you get the most output out of the pump if you need it without going in a fast speed. If you do decide to go, you want to go a little bit higher, you can just press up and it'll take you to the next gear, which would be number 2. The truck will move a little bit quicker. Just between those 2 gears, I think that's where the truck will do its best. Anything higher than that is just overkilling for the truck and the system. We'll demonstrate that in the next video, and go ahead and kick off our PTO off, turns off the pump. We have our gravity switch on and off. Up, it will open up the plunger. Down, it will close the plunger. You do not need the PTO to be engaged in order for this to work. This is just self-gravity. And we'll demonstrate that also in the next video, along with our hose reel at the end. That will need the PTO to be running to get sprayed out with the hose reel. abierto, está bien. Ready? All right, so we have a self-drafting system here. We have the main valve, which is coming from the tank to the pump. And then we have our secondary valve, which comes on the output of the pump, going to the plumbing, to the front sprayers, or goes back into the tank. Right now there is some water in the tank, which you should have at least some water left over at all times. Even after you finish spraying, you're gonna feel the truck cutting in and out on the spray system. When you're spraying, that means that the water, you're getting low on water. At that point, you should just reserve the last of the water in the tank. That was to help you prime the plumbing. So there's always gonna be some water left over in the plumbing after spraying. So what we have here is the main valve is open, secondary valve open. I'm gonna go in, turn on the PTO, and it's gonna start recirculating the water within the system. If you do have a truck with a throttle function used that you can idle up by itself, after cranking it, let it idle up maybe about 900, or if you need the assistance from someone of your coworkers, you can also have them just get the throttle about maybe 900, 1,000. That just helps the pump pressurize the system more. And once we have that RPM going and have your hose connected, right now my hose is connected, my valve is open, both of my valves are open, so there is already some water in here. That's the water, that's the remaining water in the tank that you're gonna use at all times to prime the system. So that's what, we already have water here. And so what we're gonna do is turn on PTO, get the RPM about 1,000 RPM, and we're gonna start drafting from one truck to another. We're gonna start looking at the gauges to see one of the trucks is gonna start dropping and this one should start filling up. And I'll show you the process. Once we click on the PTO, I'm gonna let it run for maybe 15 seconds, 10 seconds, as long as I can feel the system, the water is rotating within itself. I'm gonna slowly close the main valve. I'm gonna close it up. The reason why I'm gonna do that, I don't want the pump to grab water anymore from the tank coming from the top. I want the pump to start grabbing water from the suction hose. That's why gradually I'm gonna start kicking that main lever down after the system has been priming for a few seconds. So we go ahead and start the video, and then we'll show you the levels as we're going throughout to show you the levels going, one going down and the one going up. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go in, keep PTO on, get my RPM about 9,000 RPM. And if you have a guy to help you out, you can also do that just to kind of get you going. After that, it should be pretty much a self system, and you just want it to go a little bit faster. That's when you need to idle up a little bit higher. So let me go ahead and turn on the PTO. On the truck and look at the gauge here to make sure that it's properly drafted. So here we have the gauge, and you can see it slowly, it's slowly coming down. So the main thing here, we gotta make sure the foot valve always comes with a check valve that make sure it's always working properly. Make sure you have your O-ring at the end of your coupler. Make sure there's always an O-ring there. Some small drop of water, sometimes you'll tend to do that, but if you don't have that gasket in there, there's gonna be water gushing out, and you will never get the system to properly draft. So secondary is open, all the water is getting pumped into the pump from the back, going straight back into the tank, and it's pushing all the water back inside the tank. And as we can see here, this is what it just keeps dropping. Moving pretty steady. It's dropping pretty fast, so that's a good day. And there's where you can see it, if you pay attention to it, it's slowly rising up. So speaking. The function to do the self-draft system from pond, lake, or whatnot. So you do have the option to do a hydro right here in the back. You can connect your feet in, and you can just connect to any outsource of water to self-fill the